Welcome to Living the Music, where we uncover hidden lessons in classic songs. Today we're going to look at a great one by Todd Rundgren called Change Myself. This is fantastic in terms of personal empowerment, personal transformation. We're going to get into some of that. So, as some of you know, I got 35 years experience in the personal coaching, transformation, training business. I've spent a lot of my professional life traveling the world delivering these so-called transformational trainings, and I've done a lot of it online as well. And I also train instructors and coaches to do this kind of work that I do. So this song "Change Myself" is near and dear to my heart. It's not usual that you get an artist that's willing to be this upfront and clear in his message in terms of, listen, I have something to say that I think is going to support you to have a better life and to be happier. And you know, it's interesting coming from a guy like Todd. He's I don't know. He has a reputation of sorts of being difficult to deal with sometimes. As a producer, you know, he's quite a famous producer. He's produced lots of great works, including "Bat Out of Hell" by Meatloaf and "Skylarking" by XTC and many other great albums. But over the years, you would hear some complaints that he wasn't necessarily the most band friendly or you know, relationship oriented kind of producer. You know, he's more working on the technical side, I suppose, and more like pointing out what's missing rather than praising you for what you did well, which works for some people, and for other people, they have an issue with that. But anyway, my point is that maybe his personality isn't the warmest of all time. He does come from the Philly area, which is known as somewhat of uh, harsh environment, certainly in the sports world. As a road team, you kind of dread playing in Philly because the fans are quite intense. So I have a feeling he did build up a bit of a front that has served him in his life. You know, a kind of defensive front, and he's apparently quite sarcastic and can be very cynical, I would say. But again, you know, the other thing with people like that, I have found, is that also quite often underneath that front, there's a real soft side. There's a real gentle side, like a yearning to express love and to receive love, if I can put it that way. I think he's similar to John Lennon in that sense of like, you know, having this outward impenetrable sort of tough guy front, but underneath it has a definite vulnerable side. And that would come out in both of their works over the years, and certainly for Todd, who's our subject today, he has many wonderful love songs and, um, you know, quite sentimental even, and just, yeah, very sort of open and willing to express his vulnerability. So as I say, with this song, he seems to be wanting to say something to all of us, to support us in our lives, to help us through the tough times, and also to navigate our relationships in a more effective way. Um, so Change Myself opens this album. By the way, this album cover, you may find it somewhat odd. It's some kind of, what do you call it, a monk, I suppose, And he has a hatchet on the top of his head and some blood coming off there. This apparently he found this in the Mexican Day of the Dead celebration, and he just found it a powerful kind of symbol in that this monk or priest, he's he's obviously suffering, but he seems to still be um, doing his job. You know, he's like, who's to let a hatchet in the head get one down? You know. So that's why he calls it Second Wind. Second Wind closes the album. That's another self empowerment kind of song. Um, so yeah, overall, it's a really nice album, very eclectic. He's got a few tunes on there that are from his Broadway musical, which didn't actually make it to Broadway, but was off Broadway, called Up Against It. He's got a real hard rocker on there called Public Servant. Um, he's got kind of a funk dance song called Love Science. So lots of different styles. One of my favorites of his for sure. By the way, he also did a video for this song that's, I think, somewhat famous in technical terms because his use of computer graphics was novel at the time, and he did it all himself too. He's yeah. That's another thing about Todd. He's obviously very smart, and he's very good with technology. So he became something of a real computer expert on on top of everything else he's an expert at. So all right, getting into this song here, Change Myself. He starts off by saying, half of me wants to knock you out, half of me wants to tell you I'm sorry, so sorry. Meanwhile, half the world wants to scream and shout at half of the world, just like you and I. Uh, just another fact of life. We plan and we scheme till there's nothing left of our little dream. But half of the time I can't decide, and half of the time I'm petrified. So a lot going on there. A lot of hints to us in terms of things to watch out for in our own lives. So maybe we all can relate to that. The feeling of anger and rage that can sometimes build up in us. It's so we project it against our partner, but probably if we step back and look at it, it's not really appropriately projected to them. It's really anger at ourselves or some feeling of not being enough, inadequacy, or you know, something we're upset about that isn't going the way we want it in our lives, and then we get angry at our partner because they're convenient to figuratively beat up on, and then we feel bad about it, and we can repeat that cycle over and over, and then in terms of half of the world wants to scream and shout at half of the world. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's only gotten worse since then, right? So he was writing 1991. This came out. Uh, this was probably George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush Senior was president, and we were about to get Bill Clinton. So yeah, I mean, there was certainly some polarization there, but it's only exacerbated quite a bit since then, and we got our teams that we identify with, and we seem to uh, vil- villainize the other team, and there's a lot of shouting, whether it's in person or most of it online, and it's got to be very counterproductive. So we plan and we scheme till there's nothing left of our little dream. But half of the time I can't decide, and half of the time I'm petrified. So, yeah. So, we make plans, we scheme, we're, you know, someday I'm going to get to it. Someday I'm going to get to it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. But really, we're scared. We avoid it, and we don't know what to choose, and we're like paralyzed. So he's saying, I want to change the world. I want to make it well. How can I change the world when I can't change myself? So that's kind of the main message here. Is he's talking to well, maybe what he feels, and also other people like him, like let's call it idealists who have a vision for what the world can be, and really feel deeply about making a positive impact on the world. But quite often, we're not willing to work on ourselves. We're not willing to address our own internal issues that are unresolved and that keep us from being as empowered as we could be and as happy as we could be. And of course, ultimately, that's going to undermine a lot of what we want to do for the world. So then he says, try again tomorrow. So he's like, yeah, try again tomorrow. So that's our in one sense, it's our hopefulness of, I'll get to it, but in another sense, it's almost become cynical when it's tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and it's always tomorrow, but not today. I'd love to change your mind, capture your citadel. How could I change your mind if I can't change myself? So now it brings it back to relationship. I want to connect with you. I want to, you know, persuade you about something, maybe about loving me or, being committed to our relationship. I want to, really capture your heart. I want to connect with the real you. But how can I really move you or inspire you if I can't change myself? So the rest of the song kind of reiterates these things, and I'll just end with this. The last part here, which in the song is really powerful, the way he sings this, and he says, "If I want more peace in the world, then I must make peace with myself. If I want more trust in the world, then I've got to trust in myself. And finally, if I want more love in the world, I must show more love to myself." Quite powerful, right? I really I hand it to Todd with songs like this. I admire his willingness um, to go here, to go to this place of uh, really a concern for the world, and in terms of this song, it's not like just institutional change, but he's talking about one person at a time, each listener at a time. He's like, look, this is the real deal. This is the heart of it. You got to get it. So yeah, we all want peace in the world, but what about peace with ourselves? Peace with our past? Peace with our mistakes? Peace with our our so-called flaws? We want trust in the world. Certainly, we want to be trusted. We'd like to have people around us that we can trust. But then again, can we trust ourselves? Are we willing to trust ourselves? Yeah, you have to kind of earn it, you could say. You have to follow through on that trust. Actions have consequences, and if you're quite often acting divergent from your core values, you're probably going to lose some trust in yourself. But you start bringing those together, your values and your actions, the trust starts to build. And the love of oneself, yeah, I mean, that's so crucial. I've learned that over the years myself in terms of my own development. You know, it's like, sure, I'm teaching these classes and you know, I'm coaching other people, but I can't bring myself to do that if I'm not also willing to look at myself and continually be dealing with my own issues. And one of my big issues is self-love. I for whatever reason of childhood, or I don't, whatever whatever caused it, I find it very automatic to be really judgmental of myself and really critical of myself. I don't know if you can relate to this, but for me, that's my default program. Self-criticism. So then I end up hoping that the world out there will give me validation, or through approving of things I've done, some accomplishments, or my loved ones, whether it's my family or my love partner or my kids, somebody will tell me I'm okay, tell me they love me, they'll appreciate me, and then I'll feel better about myself. And that's all beautiful, and sometimes it happens, but I'm learning more and more that it's really up to me to do it for myself. I'm the one who can give myself the love, accept myself, and feel good about myself. Sure, that doesn't mean I can't improve in certain areas, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to continue to evolve, but there's also a deep place for self-love, and it really makes a big difference, and it's maybe one of the hardest lessons to really learn and to integrate. So again, thank you to Todd for recording this song and putting it out there. And it's something I can always think about, and I can always return to. And when you give this song a listen, I think it won't just hit you intellectually, but you'll get it emotionally as well. All right, so thanks for watching. Please give us a like on this. Would really appreciate it. I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Would love to have you aboard, and would love to read any comments that come to mind for you based on this video and Todd, or this album, or any of the lessons that we brought up here. So until next time, take care.